Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. We're GABNet, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Let's capture, who are all these people who are watching these cooking shows? And they're stoners, right? So I'm wondering, is this a program that Netflix has absorbed? I don't know, what is the purpose of Netflix making a 14-minute show? Now, aside from those 2 interesting facts about this show, the show is fucking terrible. Do not watch this show. It fucking sucks.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern, join Alex Bennett on the Ramble.
Say goodbye to the unions.
Renee, what was the decision? And then we'll go to Patrick.
It doesn't matter. Just say goodbye to the unions.
No. But I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you what was in the decision yesterday.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay, let me look it up.
Yeah, he'll go look it up at GlenBeck.com.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
Most high school boys, what have we got on our mind? Sex and girls and sex and sex and sex.
And booze and drugs.
Yeah, the Asian guys I knew in high school, I don't know, I'm sure they thought that way, but perhaps they were more disciplined about it. Although there was this Japanese girl in high school that your old friend, the Black Avenger, had the hots for. Oh, my God. Be still my sake wanting to drink self.
If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Well, and even if you did that, it doesn't give you the right to grab your Uber driver's private. I mean, and like, what part of that to him sounded like a good idea?
Oh, she played a special song.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GABNet. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. Spotify has 180 million monthly users and access to 35 million songs and podcasts. Now, all those offerings are going to have to move over and make room for GABNet programming. Yes, at long last, Alex Bennett's Ramble, Damian Chaplin's Exchange, Jack Bishop's The Intersection, and even the franchise MC's Arena and Michael Snyder's weekly movie reviews will be fighting for space on this massive platform. Each day, the programs are updated, so you can hear them on the Spotify app, available for all smartphones and game consoles. Or you can just go to Spotify on the web at Spotify.com. So, give us a shot on Spotify. There's a 35 million to 5 chance we'll get people to listen to talk like they've never heard it before. Reasons why you tune into GABNet. Reason number 29, the Citizen Panel.
I'm saying that a good lawyer might be able to make a case that he cannot get a fair trial anywhere in the United States because the President of the United States said, quote, he should be executed. And if you can't find a fair jury anywhere in this country because they've all been exposed to this.
No, he'll never go to trial if he's treated as an enemy combatant.
He's not being treated as an enemy combatant, Phil.
He's basically a citizen. He has a green card. He has all the rights that a citizen of the United States has because he has a green card. Either you want to follow the Constitution of the United States or not. Go to Russia if you don't want to follow the rules.
He said that he did this for ISIS. He had a note in his thing. He had phone call on his cell phone, and he says that he did it for ISIS. Therefore,
okay, so Phil, if you did that, you should be able to be treated as an enemy combatant.
I think so.
GABNet. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to GABNet.net for more. GABNet. It's talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey, Hey, it's Alex Bennett, and this is The Ramble. Yep, this is The Ramble. This is the program that asks the musical question, why do I keep doing this? It's insane. But anyway, we'll be here until midnight Eastern Time. And as we do at least once a week, we love to talk to a friend of ours who makes me do a lot of talking. I love talking to Larry Bubbles Brown because Larry Bubbles Brown lets me talk.
Well, you've got much to say.
Yeah. And I don't have a lot to say. You know, I'm not that much, but I have enough to say. So.
Well, you have a vast range of interests that most people don't.
Well, what interests you these days? Anything in particular?
Well, actually, it's something that we talked about a while back. I actually saw we were talking about Netflix the last show, and at my sister's, she said, "Oh, there's this interesting documentary about Hedy Lamarr."
Oh, that's a great documentary. Yeah.
Yes, they had that thing about where she, like you said, she invented this thing that could be responsible for cell phones and all kinds of electronic
It's not that it is responsible for cell phones. Cell phones exist because of it. You know. So.
It was called Skips. It was something that about torpedoes and
skip tracing, I think, was the term.
Skip jumping or skip tracing, something like that.
Yeah.
So she was this hot genius.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And she was in case people don't know, Hedy Lamarr. I think have we talked about this before?
Yeah, that's why I watched this thing, because you talked about it before and had wow, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's how can I put it? She invented she and what was the name? Henry Antheil.
Yeah, I think
Henry, or I can't remember. Maybe he had another first name. She came up with what happened was that with torpedoes. When you would shoot a torpedo, was it torpedoes? Yeah,
it was a torpedo, and they sent off a signal.
So if let's say a sub wanted to deflect from the torpedo, they could see it on the sonar coming, and so she came up with a method of skip jumping on signals or something so that a sub could not see the torpedo coming, if I remember correctly.
Right.
I think that was the reason for it. And she came up with this invention that avoided it. She gave it to the government. The government took it, took it from her. She was wanted to be a hero. She wanted to help the war effort. And she did this, let me see here, and they took it, but they never used it until after.
They didn't use it right away, but they used it later.
They didn't use it during the war. It just sat there, didn't get used. But this frequency hopping, which constantly changed frequencies or something like that, they started using for other stuff. And eventually, when cell phones came out, when you go out with a cell phone now, you're basically frequency hopping. You're going down the street, and it's searching out the closest cell tower or whatever. And that's what she invented. You wouldn't have cell phones today if it weren't for Hedy Lamarr.
Yeah, and she wound up kind of poor at the end, and she kept trying to get money. She knew she was owed money for this, but she never got it.
Well, what happened is, I think the trademark or the copyright or whatever, the trademark would be, the patent elapsed. And in those days, you only got a patent for 13 years, and then you could reapply for it for another 13, for a total of 26. She never even went and reapplied for it.
Right, and she got screwed.
And folks, when you get on your cell phone, it's because of Hedy Lamarr. It's not Hedy, it's Hedley. Anyway.
Hedley Lamarr.
Yeah.
And she had about 6 husbands.
She had about 6 husbands. She was, her, I think her first husband was a Nazi. And she lived in Germany with him, and he was a weapons merchant. Okay? And Hitler used to come over for dinner. And she fled this whole thing because she didn't like Hitler, she didn't like him, and she came to Hollywood. And on the boat over, I'm doing this all from memory, and my memory is shit, where yours is, and correct me because you saw the documentary.
I saw the documentary. She met Louis Mayer.
Louis B. Mayer, who looked at her and said, "This is hot stuff. I think we should hire her." And he put her on his roster of stars in the making, and she was terrible as an actress. She was a terrible actress. But
wasn't great, no.
But she got better and better. And she also was, maybe, I would say, I don't know if you saw the documentary, I mean, it's so obvious that she was maybe one of the most gorgeous women ever in the history of movies.
Yeah, and that's why I like the 40s women. I'm not a big fan of blonde, and it seems like the 40s had these hot brunettes, which is what she was.
And she was, I mean, stunning. So she, in fact, early on in her career, this came back to haunt her. Early on, she was doing acting in Sweden for this Swedish director. And they made a movie called Ecstasy. And in it, she's topless. And only for a short moment. She comes out of the water and she's topless. But in Europe, that was no big deal. She comes over here. Oh, when they found that out, that was like, oh, look, naked pictures of Hedy Lamarr. Yeah. And, but anyway, she came over here and she went into the movies, and she got to know this guy Antheil because he was a musician. And then when they went and invented this system, it had a lot to do with what he knew about music and about chords and about, things like that. And so she was amazing. And then she got older, and she stopped making movies. I think one of the last big films she did was Samson and Delilah, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And then she kind of, she as beautiful stars go, she got older. She still looked great, but she got older, and in Hollywood, that's terrible, right? Especially in those days if you were a woman. And she went and, I guess quit films for a while. I don't know who she married after that. I'm trying to remember, but she had one marriage after another, and they were
six, and then she kept trying to get the money, and she couldn't for the patent. And
then she was, as an old lady, I'm trying to remember, did she look okay? No. She
didn't age too well.
She didn't age too well.
I think there's some bad plastic surgery.
And then she got Alzheimer's.
Yeah, and she'd had, I think was bipolar to begin with.
And she had an arrest, which she was famous for shoplifting, which they say she didn't do, or because of her mental problems, she didn't realize she had done it. And but she really, she's one of those forgotten stories. And it's important for people to know she existed, because she was a brilliant, brilliant woman. Now, you know where she shows up a lot lately? In a lot of these sci-fi films, or these adventure films. There's either characters like her. For instance, on what was the show? It was this woman who's a spy. There goes my mind again, and it's one of my favorite shows. And she was on there as a evil protagonist. I think they even had her being Hedy Lamarr. Yeah, And another thing I saw, they had a character like Hedy Lamarr, who was a movie star who was also an inventor. So she does wind up in other literature these days, but kind of as a comic strip character. You know, it's very strange.
Well, they should do a
oh,
movie about it.
Agent,
It's very fascinating.
Agent Carter was the name of the show. Agent Carter. Okay. So that was the name of the show that I was trying to remember. And I think they kind of, I don't know if they called her Hedy Lamarr or not, but she was evil. Oh, yeah, on this show, they had this space show, I call them space shows because anything was science fiction. This time travel show called Timeless. And they go back to that period of time, and they meet up with Hedy Lamarr. And they kind of convince her to pursue her scientific feelings about things. And where she got all that science knowledge from was living with that first husband who was the weapons dealer. And she knew a lot of scientists during that time and got very interested in science. It's a fascinating story. If people haven't seen it, go watch it. It's what's it titled? It's called Hedy Lamarr something, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah. Just type in Hedy Lamarr and it'll come up. It is so worth watching because it's one of those stories that, you know, I used to like listening to, what was his name, the rest of the story?
Paul Harvey.
Paul Harvey. Good day.
Good day.
And by the way, Paul Harvey, the audience doesn't know who the fuck we're talking about. And Paul Harvey is...
He was old when we were kids.
He was old when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
But he still was alive a couple of years ago doing that thing every day. Oh, there we go. We lost the signal. Let me call him back again. Oh boy. Yeah, see?
You there?
Yeah, I don't know. Skype is now dropping calls on me.
Okay.
It's the third time it's happened with one of these phone calls. Anyway, but no big deal. We just call you back again. Where was I?
Paul Harvey.
Oh, Paul Harvey. So Paul Harvey used to do this daily thing called The Rest of the Story, which I don't know about you, but I loved it. You know,
they were hilarious. Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, because he would tell stories about people, and then he would keep as a surprise for the end, right? Keep as a surprise for the very end who the person was. Okay, so he would go to the end of it, and he would go, and that person we've been talking about, that person who invented skip tracing, blah, 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 that person who, and he would go on like that, and I go, why does he do that? And I'm thinking, of course. And then at the very end, he goes, Paul Harvey, good day. Now, I'm wondering why he did that whole thing, and I suddenly realized, having my great knowledge of radio, he had to fill a certain amount of time. He had to go right to the second, right? So he would keep with that, and that person who we were talking about, that person was, and he's watching the clock, right? Hedy Lamarr. I'm Paul Harvey. Now you know the rest of the story.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Good day. And it was always, he was doing it to time. That's what it was all about. You know, so now another secret of the radio business, folks, that I've demystified: how people go up to the second on something. I used to be able to do that myself. And
that's a skill.
Well, when you
skill to do that.
When you're working in situations where you had a network, like when I was at Sirius XM and we had to go up to the news on the hour. Usually, what we would do in that case, we had a music bed that was playing behind me, and then I could say goodbye whenever I wanted to. The music bed kept going, and then we killed it right on the minute, right when we needed it to die, and that's how we did it. But there were other ways of doing it. You know, and the other way was talking up to it. There was a thing we had in radio called talking up to the post, and that is where you're going to play a record, and the music is playing, and the vocal's going to come up, and you're talking over the instrumental part of it, and then you stop when the vocal starts. And a lot of us in this business were really proud of the fact that we could, what we call, kiss the post. We could go up to that moment that the person started singing, and we could keep talking, blah, 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 and then boom, they would be singing. And the closer you could get to that was really how close you were kissing the post. Now, you didn't have
I've never heard that phrase.
You didn't have to do that, but you did it because you were proud of that. That was part of being a great disc jockey. Now, today, they don't even talk over the instrumental because, God forbid you should talk over the music. But in those days, you remember people would talk. They would say, and it's 25 minutes past the hour, the music would start playing, and here's Bobby Darin with, and then right then he would say the title of the song because he was singing, right? So that's called kissing. You learn something every day, right?
Every
Bubs?
day, yes. Paul Harvey was in a, if I'm not mistaken, had a small part in a Humphrey Bogart movie.
Really? Was he an actor or what?
I think he was like they were chasing. I think it was High Sierra, and they're chasing him down, and he was a radio guy just doing it himself.
Oh, really? By the way, you have some crackling on your line, which leads me to believe a couple of things. Number one, are you using a regular corded phone or using a cell phone?
Corded.
Ah, okay. That's why it's crackling. And is it raining there today?
Sun is out now, but it has been raining. The building's so old, we probably have crappy wiring.
Well, that's what that crackling, folks, that you hear is water in his wires.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So we can't even call you on your cell phone, right?
You can call me on the cell phone, but I got the landline.
Yeah, well, it says mobile here, but I guess it's not mobile, huh?
Oh, no, this is the landline. Wow.
I should call you on the cell because it would probably be clearer, But we have a little bit of crackling, and whenever I heard crackling on the lines when I was doing talk shows, I would know that it was raining wherever that person was calling from.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow.
As water gets into the wires, into the wiring. Yeah. Or even dampness will do it, So I'm trying to explain why he's sounding crackling, folks, so you won't be annoyed by it.
It's been raining for days out here. So.
Okay, that's it. You got wet wires, Larry. How shame on you with your wet wires. There's nothing you can do about it, though. It's whatever's in the basement, So it's not you got a little problem there, But don't worry about it. Anyway,
dry out eventually.
Yeah. So you've been working lately? Oh yeah, they will dry out. A couple of days of no rain, and you don't have crackling. Can you hear the crackling on your end?
I can't, no. I'm half deaf. So.
We get it on our end, see. So how's your health been?
Health is about as it always is. There's always some complaints, but nothing major.
What's your complaint?
I'm still, I want to get, I had a meeting with a surgeon about should I get this hernia done or not. And
yeah. Well, mine's getting bigger. But it doesn't.
Mine has definitely gotten bigger.
But it doesn't hurt. So,
Does it ever hurt?
Occasionally. Occasionally.
Even if it doesn't hurt, are you like aware of it?
What do you mean, aware of it without me looking down there?
I'm just kind of like, I can feel it, and I just kind of, it pops in and out.
Oh, yeah, no, I have that, and it's gotten kind of, the bulge is larger, although my wife says she can't see it, but I can because I'm looking down at it. But I don't know, I haven't been to the doctor yet about it,
Well, you should go. She said she'll do the surgery. She said strangulation is rare, 1 in 1,000, but she said if it's bothering you, I'll do the surgery. It's up to you. So.
Yeah, so what's the, how much is the, wait a minute, how long is the recovery on the surgery?
Well, she said you could feel pain for 3 days, but she said they got a good mix of narcotics and something else.
Yeah, but I mean, how long is the recovery on it? A couple of days and that's it?
A couple days of pain, but he won't be able to run for a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she said although they do want you walking the next day.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, let me know how it goes, and if it goes okay for you,
if I survive,
if you survive it, I'll try to survive it, I guess. Who knows?
But who wants to go under the knife? Have you ever had any surgery?
Well, tonsils when I was a kid.
Okay.
That was it, and I hardly remember that. Those were in the days.
They took him out automatically then, right?
What? Yeah. And then they grew back, or my adenoids grew back. They took out your adenoids and your tonsils. Now, there's a thinking now that you shouldn't remove the tonsils because they do prevent disease.
There actually was a theory that the removal of tonsils might have been what was causing polio.
Really?
Yeah, because like you said, they're kind of a defense against bacteria.
Yeah. Well, I think that could be true. They found out that the reason for polio was that we had gotten cleaner. That when there was horse shit piled up in the streets and everything was unsanitary, people grew to have resistance to stuff. When we suddenly cleaned up the society and there was no more horse shit on the street corners and piled up and all of that kind of stuff, that we then had kids growing up as children who how can I put who had no immunity to this particular disease. Yeah.
Well, I was a little before my time, but my parents said that the polio scare was an absolute nightmare.
It was while I was a kid. It was your greatest fear that you would get polio. People would say, "Don't drink.
Stay out of pool. Don't go to a pool." And
yeah, there's polio water there, or don't drink from that water fountain. It's polio water. Well, it turned out it wasn't water at all. That was cholera. They believe now it was that we just had become too clean. We had lost our resistance to these.
I hadn't heard that theory. That's plausible.
And that's why it hit kids more than it hit adults, because that was the whole generation growing up without the immunity.
Mm-hmm.
So, who knows?
And they had that. What was that? That hideous thing, the iron lung.
They had an iron lung. Yeah. They still have.
Polio would make you like a quadriplegic, or?
You couldn't walk and things like that. I mean, eventually, I knew a guy who had polio and he had very thin legs, but he started walking again. And I think those kids got out of the iron lungs eventually. But it was a ravaging disease. I mean, kids were getting it it's because it was hitting kids. In fact, they had a name for it: infantile paralysis.
Oh, okay.
And so it hit kids basically, unless you were FDR, in which case he got it.
Mm-hmm. And
that's what afflicted him. But it really was, our and I got to tell you something. The two greatest people in America were this guy Sabin and Salk, Jonas Salk. Because, I mean, Jonas Salk, Dave Garroway used to tell a great story about how he was going out, he was all dressed up to go to something, right? And his kid said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to speak at a testimonial dinner for Dr. Jonas Salk." And he said, "Who's Dr. Jonas Salk?" And he said, "He invented the cure for polio." And his kid said, "What's polio?" And he said, that to him was the greatest tribute that the man could ever have. Is his kid saying, "What's polio?" He took a disease and wiped it out. There wasn't, I think a couple of years later, there wasn't a single case of polio on the planet. But
and that was maybe that was our last great era, because now we don't cure anything.
Right.
And then come up with pills you have to buy for the rest of your life.
What Sabin came along with was even a bigger godsend, and this was the one that I got. Was he came up with the oral vaccine. Now, kids don't like shots, and the Salk vaccine was a shot, but the Sabin vaccine, they put it on a sugar cube. and you would you'd swallow the sugar cube, and I think he did it like twice or something like that, and then he cured both of them together. I think cured polio. One cured polio, the other one came up with a way to administer it the kids would accept. So, hey, listen, we've run out of time talking about Hedy Lamarr to polio. See, when you don't structure
we've run out of polio.
When you don't structure a conversation, it can go anywhere you want to. A little adventure that we went on today, folks.
Our minds are boundless.
See you next week, Bubbles.
See you.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey, everybody. Well, there's Bubbles, and there goes Bubbles, and we'll hear from Bubbles again next week, I'm sure. Because I love talking with Bubbles, not so much... I enjoy having a conversation with him because he makes me talk about stuff, which is really good. Okay, anyway, I'm going to open up the Skype lines here and see if anybody wants to call. Oh, they have been open all along. Oh, well, let me turn it off. Okay, the Skype line. And let me turn it back on again. That way people will see it blink. All right. And then you can give me a call and we'll talk with you. What this is, in case you've never joined us before, it's a talk program, but it isn't just me and, yes, next caller, please, and then we talk to the next caller. But at least as long as this version of Skype is still working, we do what we call a citizen panel, in which we get a group of people together and we all talk at the same time. Well, not at the same time. Hopefully we're respectful of each other's space, and we discuss stuff, and it's talk like you've never heard it before. Okay? All right. Now, I have to say, see, this is where I sit and I wait. Now, I could start talking about something, which I will until somebody calls. Oh, I mean, here comes Charles Wallace. Okay, wait a minute. Scott Boddicker is the first in. Well, and then it was Charles Wallace. It was a virtual tie. Oh, look. Oh, there he is. He turned. Turn your lights on. There we go. Wait a minute. You gotta turn the audio down. Yeah. Hi there, Scott Boddicker and Charles Wallace. There's a similarity between the two of you in that Scott Boddicker lives in Texas and Charles Wallace comes from Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. But he moved out of Texas. And tell him why he moved out of Texas.
I was in love with this lady.
Yeah.
She wanted to retire to Arizona, and then we broke up.
And you're stuck in Arizona.
Yep.
Do you like it? Do you like Arizona?
Yes, I do. I love it out here, actually.
Oh, okay. All right. And you love it in Plano, don't you, Scott?
I hate it.
Really? No. You've lived there all your life, haven't you?
My adult life, yes.
Where were you born?
Iowa. You knew that.
Oh, Iowa. Yes, of course. We keep going to Iowa all the time.
Yeah.
I figured it's just because you like the corn or something,
I do like the corn.
Boy, you are really average American, aren't you?
I'm very, yes.
Very, very average American.
And I've been waiting for Phil because I've been drinking all night. So.
Yeah, okay, Phil. So where the fuck are you, Phil?
I can go off on him. I heard him last night. He was driving me nuts.
He was driving you nuts. He was driving me nuts. I got to tell you something. As long as he's not here, we can talk about him.
He'll be here soon enough.
My wife tonight said to me, "I can't believe Phil." She said, "I assume he's a nice guy."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, he is." She says, "Then how come he is so evil when it comes to his opinions about the human race?"
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
No empathy. No empathy.
No empathy at all.
No
empathy.
No.
Yeah. I wonder why he isn't calling. You would think he would be jumping in right now.
I don't know.
Maybe not. So here's what I'm waiting on. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not doing the show tomorrow night because this person who's my business manager called me about a month ago and said, "We want to ask you, can we come to your house and use your house to cook dinner for a group of people, including you two?"
because we'd like to host a dinner party in which we cook the food. And we said, fine, sure, terrific. So then he wrote a letter and said, we're looking forward to it and blah, 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 blah. And it's supposed to be tomorrow. I haven't heard from him.
Oh.
I called him. His phone doesn't answer.
Uh-oh.
It's kind of like Mike, you know. what happened to, you know, all of a sudden, I mean, I can't find my business manager, you know, and I wrote him an email. I did a text, and then I called him, and there's no answer.
Uh-oh.
So
he's like 84, isn't he?
Well, he's like 82, but, you know, pretty damn healthy, you know.
Well.
Wait a minute, here comes Ray Renati again. Wait a minute. Ray, are you there? Wait a minute. Ray, add to group call. There. Oh, well, it just screwed up here. Wait a minute. Let me get rid of him. Remove from this group. Okay. We'll wait to see if he calls again. What?
So Alex, if I have a party for my friends in New York, and I can come to your house as long as I cook for you.
As long as you cook, yeah.
I have no friends in New York, so I'll cook for you.
Yeah. Just come and make ribs.
Tony's
Ribs.
Friend, kind of.
Huh?
Tony Magno.
Magno. Hold on a second. Let's see now if we get Ray. There we go. Hello, Ray.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
Okay. You had a little problem getting on the first time, I assume, is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm driving in the city.
Oh, I see. So you're gonna go in and out on us because you're in the city driving around. You're breaking up on us right now.
I have my camera on. I don't want to use it. I can hang up then. I'll call back when I get home.
Yeah, when you get home, call. Okay? All right?
Yeah, okay. All right. Bye.
It looks like it might be a Phil-free night for all we know. You know, you may have been the predictor of that. You may be the predictor of that, if I'm not mistaken, Scott, because every time you call, it's because Phil isn't going to call. And so maybe you had a feeling he wasn't going to call tonight.
Well, I remember you saying you weren't going to be here tomorrow night, and it's been a while since I called in, so I wanted to call in tonight to just say, hey, I'm still alive. Don't send out the police to my welfare check me or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, I looked at this thing last night that was on Mike's Facebook page, and it wasn't really, I think, referring to Mike having had the stroke. It was referring to somebody else having a stroke.
Oh, that's not the way I read it, but maybe I
go back and read it. It's like it goes high. It has the name of somebody that the person says, and he said they had a. I don't know, but
no, I think he's had a stroke. I really do. I thought it was Mike, and that makes sense because your stroke. I don't know.
Well, didn't
I
we?
had a cousin that had a stroke.
Anybody that ever heard him, didn't you think he was an accident waiting to happen?
Well, I just tend to get over excited about very trivial things.
Yeah.
He seems to yell a lot about something that's not really yellable about.
Yeah.
Like in restaurants and things, people hears people talking, and he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know what happened to him. We just don't know. I mean, it's not unlike Mike that if even something were wrong, and let's say he was in rehab now, that he would get to a phone and call somebody and say, I'm okay.
Charlie was on for a long time, every time, when he wasn't working. Then all of a sudden he was gone for like a year or so.
Who's this? Who is this?
And now he's back. It's great.
Charlie? Oh, yeah. I'm glad he broke up with his girlfriend.
Yeah, screw her.
Well, me too, actually.
I mean, let's be honest about it. The reason he didn't call our show for about a year and a half is because he was pussy whipped.
Yeah.
Anything for pussy.
Yeah. Jason, all over that, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, Jason he calls once every 2 weeks because that's what his wife will allow him.
Oh.
Well, yeah. Better deal.
Boy, you're breaking up too, Charles.
I didn't hear that.
Charles, you're breaking up a little bit.
Well, it's raining here too.
Oh, well, that could be why it's a little bit breaking up. Is anybody else going to call here? Where's Phil? What's with Phil? I mean, I didn't. Okay, all right. Gee, I hope Phil doesn't call tonight. Yeah. You can't say his name 3 times, otherwise he'll show up.
Hey, maybe we can get your other friend. Oh my goodness. Only calls when Phil doesn't call in from San Francisco.
Oh yeah, Tom Yamaguchi.
Tom Yamaguchi. Jeez, I'm
yeah. Tom, where are you? It looks like maybe a Phil free night tonight. He didn't say last night it was going to be a Phil free night, so now I'm worried about him.
Ah.
You know, it's bad enough that Skype is fucking with Skype, but you know, and I may lose a show eventually because I can't get it to work. But also, if all my audience dies on me, I mean, where am I? You know.
You know, it dropped the show. It dropped the show last night at the end.
I don't know what that. I don't know what that was. It was like the last minute of the show. All of a sudden, you guys were talking to each other, but you couldn't hear me, and then all of a sudden, the screen went. You know. Whatever. You know what happened with me and Skype today? This is the latest one. So the one thing I could always count on is I could go to my Mac. And I could run the old version of Skype, and they never asked you to upgrade it or do anything. So I installed this new machine, and I put in it the newest version of the operating system for Mac, which is called Mojave. And I hadn't ever tried Skype. So I tried it. And guess what? It wouldn't work.
It didn't work.
It wouldn't work.
I was going to ask you about that, Alex, because I have a Mac, and it keeps saying, upgrade to Mojave. And I'm like, I want to hear if Alex says that's a good thing or not, because Alex knows more about this shit than I do.
Well, you know, I will always go to the new operating system because it's probably smoother and better, and, you know, they got some little extra bells and whistles. But what happened, it isn't Mojave's fault, it's actually Skype. They did something where they knew that as soon as people put in Mojave, the old Skype wouldn't work.
Oh, the old Skype. The old Skype.
Okay, so I went over to my other machine, which I have in the other room now, and I booted it up and turned on the Skype, and it works fine. The old Skype, the Skype Classic.
On Sierra.
On Sierra, yeah. You know, I mean, it's like those fuckers over at Microsoft, you know, they can fucking blow me. I hate them. They are such a, I don't know what to say about it, you know. Hello, John Rockwell.
Just to let you know that I was watching you on YouTube and nobody else is on but you. None of the other people show up.
Oh, you know why?
Oh.
I didn't push it. See, I'm so fucked up. I was so into talking with people, I didn't push a button.
Ah, okay.
Okay, there we go. It was just a matter of I didn't go from to the screen.
A couple of the chat people are saying, "Show us the people." It's like I'm not on that part.
Oh, I didn't look. Okay, okay, everybody, are you happy now? Now you see how ugly our group is here. All right.
Oh, and there he is.
Wait a minute. And here's, but it says here, I go add to group call, and I can't. But wait a minute, let me get rid of that. There, I got rid of that. Anyway, we have Phil. Somehow, Skype is acting hinky tonight. Well, there's Phil.
Hey.
We spoke too early. But
hey, I can go back to sleep.
Do you know I went 15 minutes with just a shot of me? It's like the old days. you remember when I used to not do the video part of it? I just showed me talking to people. That was in the very beginning.
A half hour of Larry Bubbles Brown
that was an old one, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that's a new one.
No, that was new.
Yeah, it's new.
Well, it sounded like one you did like a couple of months ago.
They
are and Timeless and everything.
That's one of his favorite subjects.
No, we talked about it once before, I think, the history of Hedy Lamarr. But this time he said he saw the documentary on Netflix, so I have a tendency to repeat myself. Okay,
I thought it was a rerun.
As you
was he at somebody's house?
Everything to me is a rerun. Okay, you know. Yes, John.
The main reason it came on was to let you know about that. I need to get off and do a couple of phone calls. Maybe I'll try to get back on before you end your show.
Okay. Thank you, John, and thank you. I wish I had looked. I wish I had looked.
Trying to keep this thing rolling here.
Thank you. I wish I had looked over at the chat, but I don't look enough because it's over here and I'm looking over here. But sometimes I just go loopy like I just did, and I don't I don't put the thing in the screen in the right place and so on. Well, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. But you got the audio, so you didn't miss much. Yes, Charles.
I just wanted to say, you're talking to Bubbles about Hedy Lamarr.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. She's one of the hottest women that ever lived.
Oh, she was gorgeous. She was absolutely gorgeous. She was stunning, and
and brilliant.
Yeah, well, the thing that makes a woman sexy to me is not only how she looks, but how smart she is. And this woman, I mean, come on, she was a rocket scientist, for crying out loud. It's basically what she was. And you couldn't run your cell phones today without that which she invented, which is called frequency hopping. And that's exactly how you get cell phone going from place to place. So
she's the cause of this terrible phenomenon.
Of what? Of cell phones? No.
Cell phones.
No. She invented a method of something. It's how we apply it.
I don't know. Life was better before cell phones.
Really? You're really getting to sound like an old
It was
fart.
better before all of those things. I mean, it was enough that we had to have answering machines. But people call you. They want you to take the call. They don't give a shit. They want immediate reaction. Same with text messages. If they text you, I turn off the notifications for text messages. I started doing that because of Tony, and now I just left it off.
Really, I kind of have gotten into texting, but it kind of bothers me to a certain extent. We get further away from being socialized. We call this social media, but it's really not. It's dissocialization, and when you don't have to actually, when you have a phone and you're typing in a text that sends a message to that phone number, when you could push another button and simply talk to the person, we're moving away from being socialized.
See people at restaurants texting back and forth to one another rather than
at the same table. Yeah,
at the same table. Yeah.
Well, I don't type it in. I dictate it.
Yeah.
Because I find the dictation is if you learn how to do it right, it's pretty smooth.
So you always wanted to be a dictator.
Yes, I've always wanted to be a dictator. Yes.
That's why we have Phil on the show.
So I don't know whether anyway, so getting back to Skype, so these motherfuckers, have you upgraded yet to Mojave?
Me?
Phil? Yeah.
I think so.
So you're not using Skype Classic, are you?
No, I'm using whatever they provide.
Yeah, okay, because you couldn't use Skype Classic now on Mojave. You can do it if you still have Sierra, but you can't do it on Mojave.
I've got Mojave on this. I think I got Sierra on my laptop because I was too lazy to do it.
Yeah, well, there you could use the old Skype Classic. See? But, I mean, they're just fucking assholes over there. I mean, look, if I have a copy of Microsoft Word from 2000, okay, it'll still work in a computer.
Yep.
Just let things keep working if people want to keep using them.
I had a program that I used to be able to write my yearly minutes for the corporation.
Yeah,
and it was I think I used it Windows 3.1. It was how old this went back, and then when I tried,
I think it was 3.1.
Yeah. And then when I finally tried to use it on a newer computer, the computer died. I couldn't load it. I even bought a floppy disk, the 3.5-inch floppy disk.
So you could load
USB,
it into it. Yeah.
So I could load it in. I couldn't do it.
But the point I'm making is, the programs still work. They could still allow them to work, or they could, if it won't work with Mojave. But I'm sure they did something so it wouldn't work with Mojave. They knew that it was coming up, but all I'm saying is the program would not go online. So I had to finally install that fucking stupid piece of shit that they've got out now. And I have no idea how it works. I have no idea how I can create a citizen panel from that.
Well, because there's only 4 of us, I'm looking at your YouTube, and it's just showing 3 large squares and you in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
So once more people call, you'll have circles. Is that what's going to happen?
No, not now. Not this is Skype Classic I've got here. I'm using a Windows machine.
Okay.
And I'm using a program, a Skype Classic, that somehow has been made impervious to their machinations.
I see.
And so that's why we're still in operation here. But if I have to ever go to that new one, I can't figure out how. To begin with, I would have to do it on the Mac because I can't. What I do is I tell my little program here that does the switching back and forth, folks. The switching, like this, okay? I tell it to go to that screen, to that window, and then I simply frame it so that all the extraneous stuff on the side is masked out. And then that's the picture I'm putting out over the air. If I try to do that with the new Skype, it won't do it. There's no way to grab this picture. There is a way to grab the picture, but I tried it, and it only grabs one of you. It doesn't grab everybody.
Happen if you had does that have anything to do with the encoder? And if you had a
no
hardware encoder, would it?
No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't, because there are other programs that will let you use Skype as well, but you have to use this third-party thing. It's called NDI. It's from NewTek. And then you run the video through that, but it only shows one person at a time. I tried it. So, all these other programs, if I would go to them, they go, yeah, and if you want to get Skype on, you get the NDI thing. You can get your Skype caller on from that. Well, you can only get one of them on.
Yeah. I don't want to hijack this, but what did you do for Valentine's Day for Marjorie?
Nothing. We went. Well, she took me out. She took me out to an early dinner. I'm taking her out to lunch on Sunday. Now, here's the reason why. Okay, it's our Valentine's Day lunch on Sunday, is because the biggest ripoff anywhere is going to dinner on Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because they got a price fixed meal.
Price fixed meal. It's double the price of what they would normally cost you. I mean, we went to the one restaurant that we really like called the Gotham Bar and Grill one year. And turns out it was pre-fee. And it was double the price of, it came out to $300. Where any other night it would come out to $150 at that restaurant.
Did you notice Scott is saying, oh my God, is today Valentine's?
we went to a restaurant and it was like all these empty tables there. Everybody had a reservation. I walk in with my wife. Yeah. I said, they'll say, we'll seat you in 10 to 15 minutes. A half hour later, I said, fuck this place. I'm leaving.
Oh, did they tell you to go to the bar first?
Oh, yeah. I went to the bar and had a nice
And you say the restaurant was empty?
Pretty much. It was empty. I said, they don't need my fucking money if they got people sitting around doing nothing.
My argument always is, hey, I noticed there aren't people sitting at a lot of those tables. Oh, well, we're holding them. We're holding
reservations.
We're holding them.
10 to 15 minutes. I can wait that long.
Right.
This year, I got a break. I said to Faye, I said, what do you want? She says, I want a Pandora bracelet with some charms. I said, oh, good. So I look and I said, which one do you want? And so I made her go to the store with me, pick it out about 2 days ago, and she got her bracelet and she was happy. But this morning she says, where's my card?
Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Well, what? Yeah. Where's my card? Hey, where are the flowers? You didn't give me the chocolates.
Hey, the card came this afternoon. And,
Yeah, but
so I went to the store to get a card, and this store doesn't have the papyrus and all the high-end cards. They're still expensive, but I looked at them. I said, you don't have much of a selection today of Valentine's cards, and it was slim pickings.
Yeah, well, the fact is that I've always felt that that this was a big ripoff, and I find that Valentine's Day itself is a big ripoff for several reasons. Number one, didn't we just give gifts a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
You know,
well, they got to keep us giving.
And maybe somewhere in between, she even had a birthday. You know, I mean, my girlfriend had a birthday in November, and then there was Christmas in December, and now in February it's Valentine's Day. What are you going to get me? And I'm going, to begin with, this holiday was invented by the Hallmark Company. Yeah. It never existed before Hallmark.
You have a December birthday, so you were always getting ripped off anyway.
Well, I was December 18th, and Christmas was the 25th. My
father's birthday was December 26th. Talk about a guy that got ripped off for Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Well, my parents got me presents for both, and that's why I am the way I am. You know, spoiled.
An only child, except for the two that got buried in the backyard.
Yeah, yeah. But I just consider Valentine's Day a complete ripoff because it's not a holiday that existed except for a commercial purpose to sell cards. Yep. And then everybody, what are you doing for Valentine's Day? And what did he do for you on Valentine's Day? And it's like, and if you don't do enough, you're an asshole. You know, and it's always, and wait a minute, it's always the guy that's the asshole. It's never the woman. We never say, hey, you know, my wife didn't give me anything on Valentine's Day. Sure, her answer would be, well, you know, you're supposed to give me the gift. Like, what if, wait a minute, what did Faye get you?
This I got to tell you.
Yeah.
She got me a number of items. She says, you need these things. I got zip ties. I got an X-Acto knife. I got one of those lights that you wear on your forehead.
Yeah.
And I got a card.
And how much did this?
She made dinner.
And how much did this bracelet cost you?
$300.
See what I'm talking about?
But you know why I got the? You know what?
I know why you got it for her, because you'd never hear the end of it if you didn't.
Right, but you know, she got me the X-Acto knife. You know what that's for?
What?
So I can slit my wrists.
Yeah, right.
For next Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but it's always what's the guy going to do for the woman on Valentine's Day? And I'm going, doesn't it go both ways? You know. Well, here, you got me a $300 bracelet. Great. Here's your card. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
You know. I'd say at least you could get a blowjob out of the deal, but in your case, it really.
It doesn't matter. Cards cost between $5 and $11. You know, it's crazy. A card used to be 50 cents, and expensive one.
Oh, you ever tried to buy? Wait a minute. You ever buy flowers on Valentine's Day?
Well, you go to Costco.
Oh well, Costco. I think they keep the price maybe the same. I don't know. But you go to because you're always going to forget about the flowers. So you get them from the guy in the subway who's got a flower stand, right? Right. And what is he doing with the flowers? Well, tomorrow they're going to be $7 a dozen, but now they're $20. Okay? You know, they pad it. You know, they got all these little flower stands in New York. You go to the day. I always used to get flowers the day before and put them in water. You know, because I knew if I went the next day, the price would be extraordinary.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, my excuse is if I bring home candy, I eat it, and I'm diabetic, so I can't have it. Right. And, you know, the flowers, I buy random flowers. You know, if I'm in Costco, I say, oh, those look nice. Boom. You know,
actually, they last a lot longer than a lot of others. But you know what it is with flowers now? Have you bought like a dozen roses? Have you bought them recently? No. There's no smell. There's no floral smell to them. You're down there burying your nose in them, and you can't get a smell out of them.
Yeah, maybe it's because of the way they grow them in the hot-houses. And
who knows? But they don't. Remember, am I right, Scott? Didn't they used to have a scent? Isn't that why you bought them?
I think you're getting old in your olfactory nostrils.
Oh, fuck you with me getting old. My wife says it. Well, she's old too, so.
She's old too.
You know what it is? It's the Ben Gay. You can't smell anything.
Over the Ben Gay. Yes, right.
How's that smell as Ben Gay?
I'll tell you, I never use Ben Gay because I don't want to smell like an old person.
Well, it was named after you.
No, it was named after a friend of mine who was a homosexual.
Right, Ben
Gay.
Uh-huh.
But
I gotta go get some more.
He's got to get good and drunk when he's.
What is that? Iced tea?
No, it's not.
That's Long Island iced tea.
It's a Boddicker cocktail.
I can't drink those kinds of hard drinks, especially I can't have more than one, or a half.
Yeah.
I don't see how people develop the taste for it. A friend of mine tried to turn me on to different scotches, and there are differences in the taste of scotch, but I can't drink that stuff.
I got into scotch a little bit. I mean, I'm not a drinker, but if I'm going to have a drink and somebody says, "You want one?" I go, "Okay, scotch on the rocks."
Well,
it's the one
he had me start with a scotch called Laglaven.
Mm-hmm. Laglaven. It's a Jerry Lewis.
Rival thing.
A Jerry Lewis scotch, yeah.
And, I once went to a place, it was one of these cigar places, and I got a glass of scotch. It was a very expensive glass of scotch. Because I said to the guy, "What's the best one you got?" And that one was actually tasty, but it wasn't worth $23 for a little thing.
Yeah. So anyway, otherwise, what we did is she said, I'll take you out to dinner tonight for just a small little. It was a late lunch.
Is that? Oh, that's not scotch. That's whiskey, right?
No, it's a bourbon. It's a bourbon. Yeah. I'll just bring the bottle so I don't have to leave next time.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And why do you drink it straight from the bottle?
It's I don't know. It's
show the label. Extra Brooks.
Ezra Brooks bourbon whiskey.
Huh? I liked it because it had a cork in the top. I like with corks. I don't know why.
It makes you feel more like it's legit.
What else do they do? Screw on or?
Yeah, most of them are just, screw tops. Unless you get a good scotch. A good scotch has a cork.
Well, here's what I'm wondering. Now, I'm not a drinker, okay? So you guys are going to have to educate me about this, about wine.
Educate?
Everybody goes, he's drinking wine from a box.
I do that.
Now, what makes that wine not as good as the wine in a bottle?
I get wine in a box, and I keep it at the store for customers. I got Chablis and I got.
And is it bad? Does it suck?
No,
it's good.
No, it's good.
Okay, so what's the whole thing with the cork and the bottle and you put, what? Who cares?
No, a friend of mine.
You let the wine sit in the barrel for 5 years or however long it takes to ferment, and then you just pour it into a box.
When I first moved to San Francisco, I met this guy who was the master sommelier at a restaurant called the Alexis. I don't know if you remember that. It was across from Fairmont and the Mark Hopkins. And he said, "I'm going to teach you about wines." And he said that people who smell the cork don't know what they're doing. He said, you can have a bad cork, but a good bottle of wine. So he says, when the sommelier gives you the cork, you just put it down on the table and leave it there. All you want to do is look to see if the cork was bad, so that air got into the bottle and damaged the wine.
Yeah.
But he says smelling it has no.
Okay. So now we've got the cork. Okay, and that's good news that we should know. The smell of the cork is not going to tell you anything about the wine.
Right.
Why is a screw top bad?
It's not.
Yeah, exactly. But people don't want a screw top. They want a cork.
It doesn't do that sound.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
What they found is that there's no difference whether you have a screw top or a cork. And living out here, this is wine country. We've got Sonoma and Napa, and you get a lot of exposure to different wines.
Yeah. So, Mike, I guess my question then is, I guess with champagne, for instance, There's no way of really adequately recorking it, although there are some things you can get to put in there. But once you've opened it up, you know that's an effervescent brew,
bottle.
huh?
Yeah. You got to drink the
you
whole
gotta
bottle.
drink the whole bottle, and half of it comes out when you open blow the cork on it.
Well,
right?
it depends on how you open it. Do you ever go to a place like Schramsberg up near Calistoga? They take you when you go on the tour. You turn the wines. It's called riddling.
Oh yeah. They turn the wines.
So
yeah.
Champagne, what they do is, well, first of all, they open up the cork at one point during the aging process to let some air in there, and that's what gives it its what do you call it? Not effervescence. Yeah, maybe it gives it its sparkle.
Well, the sparkle, the sparkle comes from the ferment.
It puts the air in it that gives it.
Well, whatever.
Bubbles.
So they take you on this tour and you riddle the bottles, a job they should be doing, and not having you do when you're paying for the fucking tour.
Well, it's fun. You turn the bottles, and to riddle, you turn it a quarter of a turn, and they do this every several months. And the other thing is Schramsberg is pretty neat because it's all caves, and these caves were built in 1865.
No, the caves were built long before that. Caves exist before they found these caves.
No, I think they hollowed them out and they.
Oh, then they're not
them.
caves; they're artificial caves.
Artificial caves. But you know who owned Schramsberg? Reagan's second wife was Nancy.
Jane Wyman.
No, the second wife.
Nancy Reagan.
Yeah, but what was her maiden name?
Nancy. What was her? What was in the movie? She was Nancy. Boy.
Her parents owned that winery at one time.
Oh.
And Reagan actually was there while he was president, and they had a nice display showing what he ate that night and what wine he had.
Mm-hmm.
But Schramsberg is a very interesting winery.
Wow.
And it's probably one of the best California champagnes you can
Well,
get.
you want me to tell you how political I am? Scott, you're going to appreciate this. I have a favorite show. I have to admit that there's a show I really like, and I don't know why I like it. It's just great chewing gum entertainment because you chew on it, you know? And it's called Pawn Stars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. And I like the show because a guy comes in, I've got this. A guy says, "I'll give you $100 for it." He says, "But I want 5,000." He says, "Well, you're not going to get it. I'll go as high as 150." You know, and they sit there and they barter, and and it's also you see this stuff, and it's interesting. I like the show. It's great chewing gum, and I've always liked the show. Well, the other day, they've expanded it to an hour. Which is terrible because now they're stretching it out and they're doing little factoids and they're doing little history and they're doing little adventures they go on and shit like that, and they've ruined the show. But on top of that, this time they had a fighter hat, or what do they call the helmets?
Helmet?
Little fighter helmets for a guy who flies a plane that had Ronald Reagan's name in it, said R. Reagan in it, and they think it was used by him in making a lot of these training films that he worked on during the war. And so they go to the Reagan Ranch where they meet up with Michael Reagan, the biggest phony of all time, because he really isn't Ronald Reagan's son. They adopted him.
Well, he's adopted.
He was adopted, and he's a shithead. Anyway.
But he's one of the few kids that liked him.
Yeah, and yes, right, because Ron Jr. Saddest thing I ever heard in my life was Ron Jr. was being interviewed about his dad, and he said, the sad part about it was he got Alzheimer's, and it became very distant. But you couldn't tell the difference between that and the way he always was.
Yeah,
and then Patty wasn't too happy with him either.
Yeah, Patty.
I went to college with Patty.
Yeah,
did you?
Yeah,
was she hot?
Northwestern, yeah.
I think she was hot.
She was hot.
She posed for Playboy or something.
Yeah.
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 In her
Anyway,
50s?
no, in her 90. No. So anyway, this Michael, I think his name is Harrison. Michael Harrison.
Oh yeah.
He's
Harrison's the people that own pawn shop.
He's the guy, and they're going to the ranch, and he's talking about Ronald Reagan. He says the best president ever. And I said to myself, well, that's it. I'm not watching this show anymore.
Wow.
I've gotten.
Apparently, he never heard of FDR. I mean, I'm just saying. You know.
Well, he was better than FDR, but
he was. How was he better than FDR?
He made America proud again, and you know.
He made America great again, and then this asshole stole it from him.
Hey, FDR didn't get rid of communism. You know, the wall came down.
No, the wall didn't come down because of Ronald Reagan, Phil.
Yeah, he pushed
That's
it
revision.
himself.
That's revisionist history. No, he got there and said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." And I'm sure Gorbachev was sitting there. Well, if Ronnie says so, I guess I better.
You know, this is a tough thing. Reagan wants him to tear down the wall, and Trump wants him to put it up. You know, what's the deal here?
Well, no, what's interesting? What's interesting that says a lot about walls. That we wanted to tear one down, and this guy's trying to build one up.
Yeah, but, you know, all we had to do was ask Gorbachev, give us the wall, and, you know, we wouldn't have to come up with all these billions of dollars. But I have been watching a show, which is Sea Hunt, and I've gotten through just about 161 episodes.
How? That was the worst show of all time.
I love that show. And what you got to do is you got to skip the first like 30 seconds because it's the same.
You got to miss. We got to miss the first 30 episodes.
Oh no! I love that show. It has kept me very happy.
Who's that?
See, I don't understand. See, I don't understand you guys. How you can watch Sea Hunt? I remember Sea Hunt when I was a kid, and I didn't like it when I was a kid. Okay, and then I hear Jack talk about he's watching every episode ever of Perry Mason, you know, and I'm going, how can you watch that shit?
Oh no, I've got the complete Perry Mason.
Really? What? Tell me what's great about Perry Mason.
He always wins.
Well, he lost 3 times actually.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, there are 3 episodes where his client was guilty.
And I can't watch it. I met up with Raymond Burr years later when I was working in Armed Forces Radio, and
Nothing. Go ahead. Tell the story again.
And this guy was flaming. I mean, he was so gay, I couldn't believe it. Now, you know, an actor usually when they're acting, and of course in those days you had to kind of closet it, right?
Yeah, but the guy was.
Wait a minute. When you act, you kind of part of his acting ability was to act heterosexual.
Yeah.
Okay. And then all of a sudden you meet this guy and you go, what the fuck happened to Perry Mason? You know?
You had
Plus, by that time he had put on a few pounds too. He was not, he was not only gay, but he was fat.
Well, he had Orson Welles, a workout guy. You know, what do they call those guys?
But people forget this. What happened was when they made Godzilla in Japan, it was an all Japanese cast, and all of a sudden they wanted to put it in the theaters here, but nobody wanted to go to a theater and see nothing but Japanese actors with subtitles or even dubbed. So they had to put a American in the film and insert scenes with the Americans so the American audiences would accept it. The original title was Gojira. And and they changed it to Godzilla here in America. And the guy they hired to do those fill-in pieces was Raymond Burr. In fact, he had a name in the picture, and I can't remember the name now. But that was Raymond Burr. What Raymond Burr did. Now nobody wants to see that version of the film. They all want to see the Japanese version, which is a very good kind of anti-nuke picture.
Yeah.
You ever noticed that Godzilla's mouth is moving, but nothing comes out of it for a few seconds, and then all of a sudden he says, "Come here, little girl." You know.
No.
All right. See, they dubbed Godzilla. You know.
No, they didn't dub Godzilla. No, but Godzilla originally was made to be a kind of a treatise on nuclear. What the evils of nuclear power and nuclear bombs and things like that. Which you can understand
since we dropped the bomb on Japan.
And that's exactly why they did it. And
payback.
And they liked it so much we did it twice.
Yeah. And who was the big Japanese director?
Hayakawa.
Not Hayakawa.
Oh, he was the senator from.
He was the
San
senator
Francisco.
from California. No, the big director. Oh God, my mind's such a blank. God, it's going to hell.
Not Aang.
No.
He's new.
The one who did the Seven Samurai and.
Yeah, I know who you.
Hold on a second. I just go over here to IMDb and I look up Seven Samurai. Oh boy, I'm going to hate myself. Seven Samurai, and it was Tassero Mifune. Tassero Mifune supposedly directed Godzilla.
Really?
And Shiro Honda, now I can remember him, was credited with being the director on it, but he was on every other Toshiro Mifune. No, excuse me. Toshiro Mifune was the actor. Hold on a second.
Oh, that guy Honda. He also had kids named Civic and Camry.
Akira Kurosawa. Yeah, Kurosawa. Akira Kurosawa. Supposedly, he was his assistant director, and so he directed Godzilla. And it's rumored that Kurosawa actually directed Godzilla, or a lot of it. Yeah.
So anyway, I've been watching Sea Hunt.
No, gee, here we go back to Sea Hunt.
And it's almost over. And there's another show.
You're binge watching.
Watching 161 episodes of Sea Hunt. I watch it at work on my phone. That's how much I'm enjoying it. I'm at my computer.
How much work you do, apparently.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm at my computer and I set my phone on my desk and I go to YouTube and I watch it. But there's also a show that Faye likes now called Nothing to Declare. And it's people coming through customs in Canada and the U.S. and
then being turned back by Trump.
Well, no, they get turned back by the Canadians. You know, if they suspect that you might have some sort of a criminal background, or you try to come in with a little marijuana or something, they arrest you, they turn you away. It's an amazing show. Nothing to Declare, and then they find things like food and drugs, and it's actually a pretty interesting, and it's addictive.
Yeah, yeah. So.
But it's on YouTube. And lately, YouTube has been keeping me pretty happy. There's this guy that finds phony Navy SEALs, and he's a bit of an asshole, and his wife is hard to take. But it's interesting when they really corner one of these guys, and they find that that they're lying and that they're stealing valor, and and it's amazing how they won't admit to it, even though the guy has them dead to rights. And because he was a SEAL, he has access to a database that is a SEAL database. So he knows every SEAL. Now I'm just wondering, is Lloyd Bridges stealing valor because he says he's a UDT, before SEALs?
Well, anyway, I can't watch Pawn Stars anymore because this guy Harrison.
The old man's dead.
Anybody who thinks that Reagan is the best president ever, I'm sorry, I just can't watch his show anymore.
Then I won't have a show.
You don't think?
Although I like Trump now.
Yeah. You're really a good judge of fucking character.
Hey, I like you.
Well, don't spread that around, okay? I've got a reputation to maintain.
Yeah.
So
what is it? You're just going to be the four of us here?
It's just going to be the three of us.
Looks like, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like. Jeff is down in Florida.
I think Ray got lost.
John had other stuff to do.
Yeah, more important, he'd make phone calls, for Christ's sake.
It's late there. What kind of people he calls at night? Oh, it must be the sex line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
That's his phone calls.
But anyway, so let's see. So I have my problem with Skype on my Mac now that I can't use it on this machine. What else is a problem? See, the reason I wanted to be able to use it on this machine is because
$3,300.
Well, I can get the picture from the screen on the Mac. However, that is the good news. The bad news is this fucking new version of Skype. I don't know how to get a citizen panel, and I can't. I've gone online to look at how you do it, And all it says is you just invite people to come on. And I don't know which one of you are going to want to come on a given night. You know, you call, it rings, it says add to group. I push the button that says add to group, and we're there. Will somebody do some research and tell me with the new Skype how I create a citizen panel without having to like call everybody back and bring them into the fold and shit like that? I don't understand.
It's basically a group call, right?
It's a group call, but here I can add them as people call. If you want to call, I can pick up your call. Now on that one, if I pick you up, it cuts everybody else out.
Kicks everybody else off. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And even if there's a plus where it says add to group or whatever, it doesn't add them to the group. I can't figure it out. Cannot figure it out. So if anybody has an answer to
like that. If I'm talking, you mean you can cut everybody else off?
Yeah, that'd be a treat for all of us, Phil.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if it's ever that I have to use that one and there's no way of doing that, I'm gonna have to stop doing the show. That's it. I'll have to think of something else to do. You know.
Well, it would be a lot more work because you'd have to drag each person that you want to talk into the main screen.
No, but that's enough work as it is already because you can only put 4 people on the screen at a time.
Yeah,
that's not bad because in most cases maybe 4 people are the main talkers on the show, and then I can just drag them. That's not the problem. The problem is how I get them all there at the same time, and that's what I want to know: is how do I get you all there at the same time? The only thing I've seen is it says, well, you just go to your contact list and you say Phil Meyer, and you send him an invite to come on. And I'm going,
well, I would imagine maybe that's for the first time.
No.
But once they've had the invite, no.
No. Will somebody tell me how I can, on the fly, add somebody to my panel? That's
I'm sure
that's
Googled
all I want.
This, right?
I've Googled it till my eyes have fallen out, you know. And I haven't gotten an answer. And then you go to Skype and try customer support. Well, to begin with, there's nowhere you can call. And I could do a thing online with a chat, but to figure out how to do that takes forever. You know, it's like they don't want anybody bothering them. They don't want anybody telling them, you know, your program really sucks. You know, so they're sitting there living in this reverie about, don't we have a great program? Nobody's complaining. You know why they're not complaining? Because there's no way to get a hold of you.
All right. So steps. Learn how to start a conference call on Skype.
Yeah.
Click add contacts icon.
Yeah.
In the top right corner of the conversation.
Yeah.
Select contacts you want to add
to
the conference call.
I see.
Click the add button when you are finished selecting contacts to add them to the call.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean you just add everybody and whoever then chimes in is added?
I have no idea.
You know, you've got, what, 20,
But isn't the
people?
old way where somebody calls and you simply push on a button that says add to the group the simple way of doing it?
Yeah.
Initiated the call.
Yeah. Like when Scott calls, it says add to group, and I add Skype, add him to the group. If somebody else calls right now, it'll ring. Yeah.
You can select up to 24 contacts. So you to start a group call on Skype, well, you have to go in and you have to click each username to highlight it. So it's, you know, just click 24 usernames, and those are the 24 that can join that day.
Well, suppose somebody new wants to join.
Lock them.
You know, before
a lot of luck.
Before all you had to be was part of one of my contacts. Have me add you as a contact, and if you're in that whole list of like 200 that I've got here as contacts, then those people can call in.
Well, now you're going to have to just highlight 24
every time I go online.
No, well, just leave them highlighted.
Really?
That's what you share the Skype with the other shows. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe why can't the other shows use their own Skype?
Well, I guess they can.
You know, because Rin's not calling your show, and Yeah, that was. So let's say Damien wanted to.
Let me ask you, though, Phil. Let me ask you: is this as easy as the other way?
No.
Then why don't they do it the other way? Certainly, they could build
people to a call in progress.
Oh, okay, okay. Go ahead.
This is dated November of 17, so it can't be the newest one.
No.
If you're already in a conference call, need to add someone. People at the bottom of the Skype pane. Select an add person icon. So no, this has got to be the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were able to do it that way.
Yeah, I do it right now. Yeah, with this version of Skype. So, I don't understand it, folks. But if any of you can figure it out, Alex will never stop doing this show. Ha ha. Thank you very much, Marty.
I read that.
Yeah. Oh, well, here comes Ray Renati now. See, it says add to group. So I push add to group. And then he comes on screen here. And the next thing we know, we've got Ray Renati. You see?
Hello.
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray.
I'm at Safeway buying my wife a last-minute Valentine's present.
You got bitten by that bug, huh?
Yeah, I gotta get some flowers or something.
Safeway flowers.
Why don't you get her a bag of flour? Why don't you get her a bag of flour and say, "Here's your Valentine's Day flour."
Get her some seeds. Get her some seeds and say you're thinking ahead.
Now bake me a cake, bitch.
Oh, that's hilarious. I should get her a bag of flour. That's great. I love that. I could get her a bag of flour and some flour.
Well, but don't give her the flowers first. Give her the bag of flowers.
Bag of flour.
Yeah.
I got you a flower.
Yeah.
And then when she gets all pissed off, I'll give her the flower.
Right in the bathroom?
Yeah. And if you want to give her candy, the worst candy you can give anybody on Valentine's Day, those little Valentine's Day hearts, which, by the way, they're not making anymore. The company went out of business.
Hey, did you hear that stream? He pisses like a 14-year-old.
Wait, is he in the bathroom at Safeway?
Huh?
Is he in the bathroom at Safeway?
Yeah.
I was.
I
thought I'd share that with you.
Yeah. You're getting a good signal audio-wise. Why don't you just turn on your camera and let's see Safeway? It's been a long time since I've been in California and been able to see a Safeway.
He's got to pull his pants up first.
Yeah, I had to do that. Actually, I walked into Safeway with my belt undone.
Yeah, just turn your camera to the outside camera and just show a Safeway. Yeah, okay. We don't want to have to see your goddamn face.
No. I'm trying. It's not easy.
There we go.
Security.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Here's some flowers.
There we go. Okay, let's see. What kind of flowers shall we?
The roses.
Shall we? Oh, by the way, smell the roses.
Look, they marked them up.
What?
$4.
Just go over to the side that says "In Memoriam."
Yeah.
That's the cheap ones. Here they are.
Now wait a minute. Do me a favor. Do me a favor, Ray.
Yeah.
Smell the flowers and tell me if you could find any smell in there that's really floral.
You wanted? Okay, let me see.
There's a homeless guy right next to him. He'll get a smell.
There's a little bit of smell, but those aren't roses.
No, but flowers don't smell anymore.
No, I know that. Let me see.
Yeah, smell-o-vision.
There's some red roses, and they're very, very slight.
See, that's what I'm saying. Didn't roses used to? Am I right, guys?
Ray,
yeah.
If you scratch
they do it on purpose.
You got to scratch it and then sniff.
It's because all the bees are dead.
Well,
there's different kinds of roses that have different. That people get. They say they have allergies and shit to the smell. So.
I bet you most of the roses and stuff are coming from Central America and Mexico.
See, now that's a nice bunch.
These pink ones have a little bit of odor.
Yeah.
Those pink ones do.
But that's called.
But wait a minute, where the yellow flowers were, that was a very nice bunch. That's the kind I would get girlfriend.
Let's see. What's a cheap one that looks good? Oh, here's some yellow ones that look pretty cool. How much are they? I think they marked some of these up because of Valentine's Day.
Well, $4 is not marking them up.
But they're all open.
Well, that's a lot of money for me.
You see those pink ones or that you just passed, or they might have been tulips? No, under that. Because they're all those.
Yeah, I used to like what Bobby Slayton used to say about flower shops. He says you go into a flower shop and you see another guy in the flower shop and you sidle up to him and go, "So what are you in for?" You know. It's like nobody ever buys flowers for the woman in their life unless they've got to say, "I'm sorry for something." In fact, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to make your wife really suspicious, like not tonight because you're supposed to on Valentine's Day, but on some time when there's no holiday or anything, just buy her some flowers, and she's going to think you've been fucking around.
The $14.99 was empty.
Huh?
Yeah. The $14.99 was empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. We just lost Ray. I think he's frozen. We've frozen.
He saw the prices of that flowers that he just picked up.
Oh, there we
go.
Robocall. Oh, you just got a robocall?
It almost cut me off.
Oh, you got to get Robo Killer.
Yeah.
I do, but
well, anyway, are you going to get her some flowers, or aren't you going to get her flowers?
I did. I'm getting these.
Okay.
He's going to get her a loaf of bread.
Oh, that's fine. That's very nice.
And now I'm going to go buy a sack of flour.
Okay.
Let's see. I got to find it. This is exciting. This is exciting radio.
This isn't radio.
TV or whatever it is.
This is YouTube. Hey, I got to tell you. Do you know right now the numbers are going up on the video stream?
Well, this has never been done before.
Yeah. Okay. You don't have to get her a big one. You know.
Yeah, just get her a little tiny.
Get a little smaller bag. Yeah.
Like something that's really cheap. They don't have those small bags. Where's this?
Hey, this flower is more expensive than the roses.
Yeah,
you're right. No, it's for Jesus.
How much is the?
I don't have those.
Yeah, it's for something. I think there.
Yeah. Well, she can make me some bread.
Yeah. Shut up, bitch, and make me a cake.
All-purpose flour.
What?
How about some bread flour? How about some whole wheat flour?
No, that's gonna cost you more. Just get a regular.
What's self-rising flour? You just put it out.
Well, Phil, let's not talk. Phil, let's not talk about self-rising any longer, okay?
Hey, I always had an assist.
Yeah, we got Cialis for that.
Oh, there you go, metal flour. That's good. There you go. That's the kind I would buy. Yeah, right there.
That's what I'm going.
Okay.
All purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you don't give her the flowers
first.
Should I get her
chocolate?
No, well, if you want to get her
chocolate milk.
Get chocolate yogurt.
I could get her some Ben and Jerry's chocolate.
Ooh.
Yeah, that works.
All right. How is it? Is this too boring now?
No. This is
These are your kitchenware.
Oh,
it's either this or Phil waxing poetic about Donald Trump. What do you want to do?
Here's the expensive ones in the thing here.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm not.
Oh, they have vases.
Oh, those are the ones that make you feel like a piece of shit that you bought the other stuff?
Yeah, that's fine. I won't look at that too long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to feel like a piece of shit. All right. Chocolate. Problem is, if I buy the chocolate ice cream, I'll end up eating it.
Yeah.
$11?
Wait.
For ice cream? Where are you, in Palo Alto? I saw something that said $11 under the Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, you're right. No, 3 for $11.
Wow.
Oh,
3 for $11.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, until you get diabetes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, I finally heard from my business manager.
It was $3.99 ice cream. That's good.
Oh, that's okay. All right. I just got a letter back from my. I just got a letter back from my.
What'd you get, Alex?
Huh? I just got a letter back from my business manager.
This is going to make me.
How are the numbers? What can I do to help?
Mute. That's how you can mute. It'll help.
Mute? Oh, you mute? Okay, I'll mute.
No,
you don't like the plastic?
Yeah, it's the crackly plastic makes a lot of noise.
Oh, sorry. No more plastic. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'll get.
You know, when I was a kid,
Haagen-Dazs.
I went to NBC Studios.
Yeah.
And they took film and they crackle it up.
Yeah, well, that's her fireplace.
That was supposed to sound like bacon being made, and that's
or a fire. Or a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the little what do you call it? The sound guy. What do you call the sound guy?
Foley guy.
Yeah, Foley guy. All right, so I'm gonna mute it while I'm in line so I don't seem rude and get kicked out. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
20 Pepsis.
What's this other guy buying? I always like to look at what the next person in front of me is buying and thinking about how unhealthy they are. Well, let's see.
They don't want you to put your shit down. That's why he didn't move the little red thing, the separator, because they want to take the whole thing. And if they put the separator down, it means
I came up with a name for that. Okay, because I was writing a screenplay once, and I had to say this guy was the king of making those. He had a company that made those things. Because somebody's got to make them, right?
Yeah.
So what would you call them? Separators?
Yeah.
I call them a grocery baton.
That's pretty good.
Huh? That a good name for it?
Yeah, then they started putting advertising on them.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, it was just a stick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, let's see the ad on that baton. Let's see here. What does it say? Julian Lee. What Juliana Lee? .com.
Oh,
what does
she's
she do?
got to be real estate.
Really?
She's a big real estate person around here.
Now, does anybody read what's on those batons? Do you ever read them?
Caldwell Banker or something? No, it's KW. I don't know what that one is.
Keller Williams.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Ask Keller Williams.
That's who's selling our house.
Yeah. Oh, really?
It hasn't sold yet?
It's only been on the market 5 days.
Oh, okay.
And now that you fixed it all up, you a little pissed off you moved?
It looks nice. I really like that.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah, it's great. I fixed all the plumbing issues. I mean, and I every time I turn around,
I got news for you.
$1,000.
Phil fixed all his plumbing issues too.
Yeah. Hey, did you notice all those paper bags? In my town, they charge you 10 cents for a bag. And I always forget to bring the bag, the fabric bag in with me and end up begrudgingly taking the bag. Sometimes I just say, nah, I'll eat it all right here.
Well, I wish I could say that was because the what do you call it? The
paper?
No, that the places were getting cheap. Okay, that the grocery stores were getting cheap. But I think it's a law in California now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, definitely in Walnut Creek it's a law. They have to charge you for the bag.
Yeah, it was that way in Austin.
Like at Costco, they don't give you a bag, so you can buy the bags. And what I get are those big bags they've got. And those things last forever. I mean,
get the free boxes.
I finally had to throw some out because there was too much meat juice in them, residue. They were starting to smell, but they would not break.
Have you noticed those boxes? They cut them in such a way that you really can't use them.
No, but what you got to do is get the bags. You got to get the bags. Those bags, and I swear to you, they're not fabric. They're some kind of plastic, but they never break.
Pipar.
Yeah, they never break. They are so good. And you know what else is good at Costco? The carts.
Yeah.
The carts never go bad, and they're double duty, and they're very strong, and they're very heavy. So whatever.
You know what they say about carts?
Let's see. Wait, quick. Just guess for a moment how much money he spent. I'm saying it's $18.95. $18.95. How much did it come to?
I say $60.
$60, and the flowers were
what else did
something. He got the flour. I'd say 18.
Okay, I got Haagen-Dazs. I got a bag of flour, and I got flowers.
And how much did it come to?
All right, so $23.
$42.
Did everyone put their guesses in?
I put mine in. I said $18.95, $18.75.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
$22.83.
I'm still high. I said $23.
Yeah, so I'm on the Price is Right. I would have won because I gave the price without going over.
Yeah, but you're dressed like a turnip, right?
Yeah, right. No, that's on Let's Make a Deal.
Oh, pick me?
No.
No.
I don't shop.
Well.
Yeah.
See, I don't have a bag. I forgot my bag, and she didn't even offer me a bag.
What kind of car did you get? That's not a Volkswagen.
He drives that diesel.
Oh, it's an Elantra. It's my son's that my parents are paying for, and I'm driving.
All right.
Your son's.
He never drives.
He never drives. Oh.
No. I drive it, and my parents are paying for it, and they don't know it.
Okay, what year is
He's
it?
driving.
They do now.
What
It's
year?
a 2017.
2017, yeah, because it doesn't have that new car smell anymore.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes,
Farts in here. I've been in it all afternoon. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Sorry. Too much information. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. There we go. All right. Continue your conversation.
Hey, well, something that I guess I can bring this up because we only had 20 minutes to go here, right?
Oh, my God. This show's lasting.
How do you feel, and Phil, don't you answer this question, how do you guys feel about the fact that our country is now in a state of emergency?
Oh, my God. Bullshit.
Did he actually declare it today?
He said if they pass the bill, he will sign it. But when he signs it, he will also declare a state of emergency.
Maybe.
Oh my God.
No,
maybe.
he didn't say maybe. According to Mitch McConnell,
he's not going to do it because he knows it's not going to.
Freaking idiot.
He's not even that.
He's going to do
haven't
it.
we? You know, look, we've cheapened a lot of things in this world. You know, like when we say movies, porn star. Now that's cheapening the word star, isn't it? You know,
definitely.
And when we call everybody a star who isn't a star, that's cheapening the word star. Doesn't this cheapen the word emergency?
Sure.
Yeah.
Phil?
Oh, you told me not to say anything.
Well, I thought I would now ask your opinion on this.
Oh, cheapening the word star, porn star?
No,
Well,
no. That Trump, cheapens the word porn star. No, calling this an emergency cheapens the term emergency.
Well, you know, there's a lot of other emergencies, and Trump seems to feel, and I agree with him, that our southern border is porous. And after watching this Nothing to Declare show, I believe that we're not doing a very good job of protecting our borders. The Canadians, they're right on.
Canada?
Huh? Canada is where a lot of it, most of it shot.
Yeah.
And different airports. And then the New York City mail facility.
Well, they won't let you bring marijuana into Canada because theirs is much better, and they want you to buy theirs.
Now, didn't they legalize it?
Yeah, yeah.
Moving.
All over the whole country.
Yeah. I guess these shows it's old news that they're arresting people for marijuana.
Smoke if you got them.
I read there's a tremendous amount of drugs coming through the Canadian border.
I think they catch them all, at least on this show they do.
Yeah, on the show.
Well, you want to talk about a porous border.
Amazing number.
Wait a minute. You want to talk about a porous border. I mean, the border between us and Canada is absolutely porous. There's so many areas where you can just drive right through. It's, without anybody stopping you. When I was on the run from the law with Abby Hoffman years ago, he lived up in what do you call it? Upstate New York, where the St. Lawrence Seaway.
Niagara Falls.
And we got in his boat one day, and he just zipped the boat up through a couple of things. He says, "Okay, here we are." He says, "See that shore over there? We're just in this little wooded area, and this stream that seemed to be going through the area." He said, "That's the United States. See over here? This is Canada." And you could almost touch either side. And we went through, and we went up into Canada with his boat. Now, there was nobody stopping us. There was nobody checking.
It was also before 9/11.
No. They believe me.
You didn't even need a passport to go to Canada in those years. If you had a driver's license.
All I'm saying is that you can get across that border. If you wanted to put drugs across the Canadian border, there's so many more places to do it. You could probably have a better chance of getting them in through the Mexican border. Just as good a chance of getting them through the Mexican border. So.
Well, if you go to Canada, they got one thing going for them that the Mexicans don't. You go up just a slight distance and you freeze. It's kind of like Siberia. It's cold there, and it's tundra. There's nothing. It's at least in Mexico, in the U.S. Mexican border, it's warm. You're not going to freeze to death.
Hold on. I need to tell you that most of the Mexican border is uninhabitable desert. Okay, just FYI.
But it's not cold.
Die there No, but
Yeah.
heat can kill you as well.
I mean, the
Just
reason
wanted to add that.
the reason
Or
I'd like
large
to see
cans
Mexicans
of
stop coming up here, people from South America stop coming up here, is because of the number of them that die on the trip. You know, just for their own safety. Plus, I mean, who's going to stand outside of Home Depot and ask people to take them home to do the gardening?
Well,
racist.
I guess there'll be a room for me to do that now.
Yeah, radio personalities need jobs too.
Yeah. We'll work for commercial. Yeah.
They should have just a radio personality pickup section.
I had a computer.
Guys.
I had this computer thing years ago, and you could type in. It was like "We'll work for food" kind of sign, and I typed in there, "We'll sell carpet for food," and printed it out. But I don't know what happened to the little animator.
Yeah, but I think declaring a national emergency. Do you think this thing's going to fly, or do you think it's going to?
No, it's going to go straight to court. There's going to be somebody in the Ninth Circuit that's going to strike it down. Then it's going to have to go to the Supreme Court, and it will probably be upheld in the Supreme Court, but it'll get delayed.
Yeah, well, but do you really think that we shouldn't, we have to be a little more judicious? By the way, the fact that we've got Ray Renati traveling around has given us huge numbers out there. Really, this is true. This is true.
I could do this every
how
night
huge
for you.
are
You could
they?
pay me more GABNet bucks.
We could really be talking about political issues and so on. The numbers would go down, but here they're going up like crazy. People go, "Hey, show us more of that."
You know what we could do?
Well,
we could do it where I actually hand my wife a bag of flour.
We want more dashboard. I want to be. How far are you from home? Because we got 13 more minutes.
I'm here.
Oh, good. We want to see you. I'll give her the flour.
We want to see you give her the flour.
Yeah, we want to see you give her the
door.
Oh shit! Right? I'm dropping everything.
Yeah, when you walk in the door, make sure you give her the flour first and have your video running.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
We got almost 40 people watching.
Almost 40 people are watching at any one time.
Yeah, they all want to see her get the flour. And then
okay, here we go, folks. Call your friends. Tell them to tune in.
I want to see that right
Ray, turn your camera the other way. Yeah, turn it the other way. Ray?
I just got a black screen on.
Oh, he isn't inside yet, I don't think. Are you inside?
My dongle got pulled out. I'm almost there. It's just they didn't give me a bag, so I'm dropping everything. Okay.
So you had your belt undone when you walked into Safeway, and now your dongle is hanging out?
Yeah.
Your dongle is hanging out.
I can't keep my shit.
Okay, we want to see what his wife says.
Okay, I'll leave the flowers hidden here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And the ice cream.
Hey, dear, I bought you flowers.
Yeah.
Here's a flower.
Singular.
I'll ring the doorbell so she comes. And she hates being on like TV and shit like that too.
Well, this isn't TV.
Great.
She isn't on anything here.
Okay.
Valentine's Day. She needs to be on.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Our little stunt. Here we go.
How are the numbers? Okay. Hello.
They've gone down,
Hello,
actually.
my sweetie.
What?
Happy Valentine's.
Hello. Happy Valentine's.
I got you a flower. Do you like it?
No.
You don't?
No.
It's all purpose, though.
and it won't wilt.
It's supposed to be a joke.
What?
It won't wilt.
It's supposed to be a joke.
No, this is a flower I got you.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You don't appreciate it?
Oh, sure.
I was trying to be clever.
You better go get the.
You're just gonna walk away like that? Not even a kiss? You just stick it in the cabinet and walk back away from me?
You better go. You better go get the flowers fast.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm up shit creek.
You better go get the flowers fast. Yeah.
I am up shit creek.
Hey, she's wearing a UC Theater T-shirt or a UC Theater sweatshirt.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, he's going back out again. Where'd you leave the flowers?
Here's some real flowers.
That's better.
And some chocolate ice cream.
All right. Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day from us here, too.
Look, they're all acting.
Oh,
Don't be embarrassed. Okay.
So
She's
you guys-
embarrassed.
Maybe I found. Maybe I
You
just
see
found a
theater
new
in
format for this show. Stunts. Okay, we
What do you
send
have on
people.
your shirt? Oh, what did you say,
She's
Phil?
wearing your wife's wearing a UC Theater
Are you
sweatshirt.
wearing a UC Theater sweatshirt?
Yeah, that's
Oh, you are?
David
Where did you get
David
that?
Myeri.
Oh. Oh, what did we see? Oh, you went.
This-
I didn't go because I couldn't go. Okay.
Isn't that a perfect moment for today with the flowers and the chocolate, and the other flower as well? Which by the way, can I ask
which
you,
one of those is you, Ray?
Ray?
No, none of them. No.
Ray, can I ask you a
Children's-
question? What was
Yeah.
more expensive now, the flower or the flowers?
Well, the flowers, because I found this small bag of flour.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been ordered to leave. Okay.
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 You've been ordered to leave?
Yeah, I've been. Well, it's Valentine's Day, and she wants to eat.
Oh boy.
I already ate. Oh no! Oh, you already ate. Oh, it's fine then. Okay. Okay. I have to go. All right. I hope that was entertaining for you.
Well, that was very
It was.
entertaining. And we got a lot of
All right.
audience watching that. People, but with this could be a new format for the show, stunts. That
Reality
we send
season.
people
Yeah, we
out.
could
We
do
send
that.
people out, and you can go just punk them like crazy.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. I would love it actually.
Yeah.
Who wants to go see my wife?
What? Who wants to see what?
All right, I got
You really have one?
Who wants to see your wife? Sure, let's see your wife. Is she there?
Oh boy.
Wait a minute, we just lost
Okay.
Scott, I think.
All right.
No,
All
he's in a dark room, I think.
No.
He's in a dark room, and Ray Renati, we just got him.
Don't worry, it's fine. No
looking-
one even knows who you are. Okay.
And Ray, we've got your eraser head
You didn't do
picture.
anything wrong. Oh, sorry. I thought...
It is, Scott.
Thank you. I didn't know.
She was in bed sleeping.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just listening.
Okay, turn on the camera, Ray. We miss you, Ray.
Crazy Ray.
Crazy Ray with that Crazy Ray picture. Yeah. So anyway, so this was a good. Don't do that too. What's he doing? He's like what are you wandering around trying to do? Oh, there she is arranging the flowers. Do you notice when they get them, they always have to put them in a vase, and they always have to then rearrange them themselves.
Hey, Ray, did you tell her that those flowers are only rented and you got to bring them back?
Yeah. Well, isn't that nice that we did that for Valentine's Day? We have almost 40 people watching at one time now.
Almost 40.
Yeah. This is that your son, Ray? Ray? He can't. I think
I don't think he's listening.
No, I don't think he has his microphone.
No,
was that?
I was listening.
Was that your son?
In trouble.
Was that your son?
She was, yeah, that was my son.
Oh, okay.
They don't like being videoed, and they're getting annoyed at me, so I didn't want to talk.
Well, then they know how we feel.
Oh, here's our $15,000 bathroom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's my sink.
Your sink does she have her own sink?
There's her sink. Of course, she gets a large counter, and I get the prison size counter.
Yeah, you get the prison.
Of course.
But look at that toilet. Isn't that something?
What do you mean? Isn't that something?
It's out of the wall.
It's
in the wall.
Oh, I see.
It's in the wall.
Yeah,
It's
it's not a tank version.
What?
Oh,
Yeah,
now
there's a
how many
tank in the
shower
wall.
heads?
Oh,
how
is
many
it a tank
shower
in the
heads do you have?
Well, you got your shower head there.
Yeah.
And then you got your muff sprayer right here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the muff sprayer.
And it's the French style. This is French.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that muff sprayer doesn't give you enough force. You got to have more
Force
direct.
for what?
You people would just die to know how bad my water pressure is in this apartment.
Ours is good. Oh yeah.
Ours is terrible because we're up on the 8th floor, and the shower is terrible. When you have to. It's a whole sensitive situation, but it's a very weak water pressure up here.
Well, I got the same water pick.
What?
As Ray. I got the same water pick as Ray.
Which one do you? I have the one that you don't have to have the tank. You just fill it with water and then you start brushing with it.
Does it run out?
Yeah, it runs out, but I don't want. Why do you want to have a tank with water in it and then this whole thing that here I put the whole thing in my mouth?
I fill the tank up and then I put some Listerine in it, 1 cap full of Listerine, and I get 2 or 3 mornings out of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like it this way. I like ours. Haven't you seen the portable ones?
Yeah, I saw one the other day at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah.
I went looking for a new coffee maker, and I haven't found what I wanted yet.
What do you want in a new coffee maker?
I want a combination Keurig and something that makes regular coffee, and I want it to make hot coffee.
Really?
That looks
good, Ray.
Up around 110.
That looks great, Ray. What is that?
Now I'm hungry.
What is that? It's
looks like scallops
and pasta and scallops.
Is this the scallops and pasta?
And peas.
Is that what this is?
Yeah.
Or is those potatoes? What are those? Scallops.
Scallops.
Oh, this looks
wow,
great.
That looks great.
Those little things, marshmallows?
No, the scallops.
No, there's some little
scallops.
ones.
Where'd you get the scallops? What are the little scallops? No, those are
probably shark.
Oh, those are the large.
Now, is that warm or is it cold?
I'm going to have to put this in the microwave a little bit, huh?
No, okay. Then you got to warm it up.
That dish in a microwave?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look at him. He's having veggies. What's with you?
I eat tons of veggies all the time.
Yeah?
There we go.
Yeah.
Asperger's?
Yep.
Aspergrass. Aspergrass. Oh, man. Amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah.
I think this is, it's terrific.
Very nice.
Yeah. Let me see here.
At least somebody has a life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody has
no fair, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway. Well,
yeah.
Yeah. My wife, I do most of the cooking in the house now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that she isn't a good cook. She's a great cook, but she gets home and she's tired and everything. And, I make some hamburgers. Another night I'll make something else, But anyway.
Not me.
So anyway, now that we're under a state of emergency.
Oh, my God.
I thought that happened. I thought that happened when, we were attacked by
Japanese
aliens, things like that.
Oh, we had a nuclear
or there's a hurricane. Or something like that. State of emergency, but for those areas. But, state of emergency for the entire country. God, grab your asses, folks. We're being invaded.
What's that thing that he pushes a button and he gets the news?
That's a
Google Home.
That's Google Home? Oh, okay. Because I've got the Echo Show. No, excuse me.
There's Mitch McConnell.
I just said the word and it's.
Ah.
Oh, jeez. It started talking. Anyway, no, I have the Echo Show. Yeah, it didn't hear that. But
Echo Show.
Well, don't show that because then they'll say we're stealing stuff from the networks
CNN.
and don't do that. Okay. Anyway, I want to thank Donald Trump for being on our show tonight. I want to thank Charlie Wallace for being on the show tonight. I want to thank Scott Boddicker. Scott, you've been terrific tonight, by the way. You haven't been quiet. You've joined in. You've been funny. And you've been...
When I drink, I'm funny.
Oh, yeah. Drink more. I don't care. And let me see here. Charlie Wallace, thank you. Phil Meyer, thank you. And, of course, Ray Renati, thank you. Everybody give a big wave goodbye. Robert Mueller, you wave goodbye, too, okay? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Well, that's our citizen panel for tonight. Let me hang up on them. So the next show, which is, of course, The Intersection with Jack Bishop, can use the Skype lines. I'll be back again. There's no Damian Chaplin tomorrow night again. I'm not here tomorrow night, but I'll be back again on Tuesday for more of the same. Same time. Well, I should slow it down because I still got about 30 seconds to go. I'm taking the night off tomorrow night. I've got a dinner thing, and I never take nights off. Anyway, I'll see you on Tuesday, right after Damian Chaplin, if he comes back on, at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, do me a favor, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.